Now
gotta go hard and fast.
Well, it's all coming together, right? They draft the Evelyn early to allow for double AD solo
Exactly.
laners. You have to
Big
have
brain.
that AP threat from the jungle. And it actually really does set up Evelyn as the only AP threat, which feels so good as the Evelyn, because your whole objective is to 100% to zero people.
Well, the question is, will Boogie actually find the opportunities? We got a very traditional, very MSI draft on the side of Phong Vu Buffalo, and a very happy, very flashful celebration draft. And it's going to be up to them to make it work.
Yeah, serious face on the Phong Vu Buffalo side, very happy face on the Flash Wolves.
And I'm looking at this draft, and expectations are you're going to see that Talon moving around the map a lot. Don't be surprised to see those mobility boots.
Really?
The Tiamat. He's going to wave clear, he's going to leave, and he's going to be looking to stabby everyone.
Stabby everyone, and hopefully have an Evelyn to back him up as well. Yasuo, Evelyn, Talon for the penultimate game in the MSI group stages. Yeah, as we've mentioned, these two teams are eliminated from the semifinals and the playoff BO5s. This is for bragging rights. The Vietnamese VCS Phong Vu Buffalo taking on the LMS and Flash Wolves.
Let me remind everyone that Hanabi is a Yasuo one trick.
Right, one trick Hanabi Yasuo. Let's see what he can do. Conqueror Yasuo in the top lane. Double electrocutes for Boogie and Rather. Take a look down at the rest of the lane. And not seeing any huge surprises yet, but definitely want to see the early game decision making and what this Evelyn does and whether or not Phong Vu Buffalo can shut her down.
So I know Kobe is very familiar with Evelyn, so before we get to that, I want to quickly talk about the top lane matchup, because Yasuo used to be a big counter pick over in Europe as an answer to the Aurelia. The wind wall can be used to block both her E, the primary stun, and it can be used to block her ultimate. He also outscales her in a side lane later on, because he's going to primarily building a lot of crit, and that shielding actually helps him with a lot of his trades during the early laning phase as well. So I actually favor Hanabi in the 1v1. He just has to be very careful of Meliodas ganks if he decides to focus that lane.
And that's the tricky thing. Jarvan should have the priority over ganks early on in this game. So it's up to Meliodas on the side of the Phong Vu Buffalo to make sure that his solo lanes do have a good start.
So let's talk more a little bit about this Evelyn, Kobe, because I'm not an Evelyn expert, and all I hear is Ender complain about the champion. So I'd love
That's
to...
like Ender's not an expert on Evelyn either. Because Evelyn, I think, is not one of the problem champions in the game right now. Definitely does have weaknesses that you can exploit. It can be super annoying, though, so I can see why a lot of people do complain about it. But as you can see right now, he's starting with no leash on the Raptor camp. With the Talisman start, you get so much HP back from tagging multiple monster camps. That's how I was talking about her always starting on the red side and churning through the high experience camps on that side. Going to transition down through the red into the Krugs afterwards. That means your top side is left vulnerable. And with a Yasuo Aurelia, very kind of volatile matchup up there, it means that Meliodas does have a good opportunity to make something happen.
Would you like to see Boogie, gank a specific lane once he gets set up? And when do you expect that to happen?
Evelyn works best with other forms of CC to keep them in place during your charm kind of charge where it fills up. So Yasuo is actually quite a good one because he does have the knockup, and Aurelia is a melee champion. And
I mean, while that's true,
gonna look mid lane though.
Let's take a look. Rather's just gonna rake the mid lane. Meliodas shows his presence. Remember, split map, so Meliodas steals away the blue buff. Boogie's gonna get support from Xiaoxi as well as Betty, and should be able to secure the blue, and does so with the smite.
And I'd say bottom lane's definitely fairly difficult because of the Morgana Black Shield that we kind of went over earlier. But if Xiaoxi can get both of them in a flay, or you can keep them guessing on which target you're going for, and you can still make it happen.
So while I do agree, CC is one of the best things to help utilize Evelyn early on. I also just think tons of damage is another way to utilize. And the thing about Talon is once he hits level 6, once Evelyn hits level 6, they have a lot of bursts together. So I'm expecting these two to be like a roaming duo death squad, because remember, Evelyn becomes camouflaged, which means that she can only be seen in a certain radius. And for Talon, he can pop out of nowhere because he can dip, dive, and jump and parkour over all these walls.
Talon is actually one of the most annoying solo laners for the enemy to get ahead as a jungler, because he just comes over your walls. Here we go, the chain hits!
All right, Palette's going to use that Black Shield, flashes away to safety. Boogie's managed to come in as well. Dashes forward, throws out a couple of hate spikes, and a couple of summoner spells blown. It is Palette that uses flash and heal. Shalcy only spends the ignites.
Yeah, that Morgana definitely vulnerable now, and topside knows that both junglers show bottom, so they are free for the 1v1.
Maybe right now, still even CS. I'm waiting to see how that plays out. As
parkour.
Rather will use that Assassin's Path, hops over the wall. See whether or not he can spot anyone out. Good vision toggle there by the observers, just highlighting what the players can see, and obviously Rather being spotted out means he's not going to find a target yet. He's also not level 6, so he can't, blow everyone out just yet.
Yeah, Talon needs to farm a little bit. You want to be able to get your Tiamat so you can shove the wave really quickly along with your W. Then, in addition to mobility boats and boots and lethality coming in, that's when you really start seeing the super high value roams around the map.
And I will be honest, I've not really seen the Sylas versus Talon matchup, so I don't normally know how that goes in the 1v1. What I can say for sure, though, is Talon, the moment he completes that Tiamat, what he often does is rake the wave and then pop the Tiamat, and then he doesn't really look for the 1v1 in mid. He usually looks for the side lane opportunities anyway.
Swing and a miss.
Yep, most matchups go the same way. I had to say, the only thing he has to keep in mind is the heal from the Kingmaker for Null. That can catch you by surprise. So the Ignite, very important on when you're going for your all-in.
And we'll see what he can do. I mean, Null already has a ton of damage in his kit built in. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do with a Shadow Assault as well. A couple of knockups on his side of the map as well. So there's a few very powerful ultimates that he can steal, and definitely a different flavor of ultimates than we've been seeing for the rest of the tournament. 5 minutes in, it is an even gold game, pretty much even CS across the board. Small advantages top and bottom, but nothing really significant to speak of. And Boogie at level 4 will be in range to help out Rather. Waiting in the wings. Gonna throw out that allure, starts to charge it up. Hate spikes coming out, teleport now being channeled, I believe, from Zeros. Boogie's running for his life, flashes over the wall. Zeros, does he decide to chase? The answer is no. Holds on to that flash, but teleport's secured in favor of Flash Wolves.
So yeah, Flash Wolves can be pretty happy with how that trade worked out. Considering Evelyn, early levels, is able to force this level of pressure, is definitely an advantage that they want to find themselves in, as we see Big Cora being pushed back in the 2 versus 2. Hail of Blades, Kalista coming out very strong in these early skirmishes.
Yeah, and Evelyn definitely has to be worried with the flash blown and no level 6 is a super vulnerable target. In mid lane, though,
oh, that's a lot of damage. Rather's going to escape for now. Manages to make it out with his own Shadow Assault. And we saw that trade, by the way. Betty, undefeated on Kalista this year, 6-0. Really showing his proficiency on the champion in that bottom lane.
I just can't get over how many swords there were. Just the Talon ultimate plus the Talon W, and then North stealing it. Ah, so cool. Anyway, sorry. I love mid lane matchups like this because I rarely get to commentate them and I rarely get to see them. So seeing the back and forth and the cool interactions that you get is a really fun experience for me. So right now, Null, he has the slight advantage, forcing Rather to go back. He hasn't been able to pick up his Tiamat just yet, sitting on the 3 long swords. And one of the big things you have to be very careful of when training against a Talon is the 3-hit passive. Is he's able to land 3 of your abilities. He applies a bleed, which does a surprising amount of damage for those unaware. But the great thing about a Sylas is he has the shield and the heal to help mitigate a lot of that extra burn damage that can follow up a short trade.
Meanwhile, on the top side, Hanabi feeling very good about his alone time here up there with Zeros, pushing in the wave once again. And I would still say that is a really prime target for when Boogie hits level 6 to go gank. Zeros has got the early Ninja Tabby investing in the armor, and Evelyn, it's actually very easy to go up there and charm a melee champion that's in combat with another melee champion. Even though Aurelia can jump around to minions, oftentimes you don't have to proc your charm with the Q.
Yeah.
That's a fallacy that we see a lot of early Evelyn players do. You can just go up with the E and proc it most of the time. But casual first blood in the bottom side, quick shot.
Well, there we go. Looked like Shalcy managed to catch the death sentence, if I read that correctly. He had no flash, remember? Yep. From an earlier gank, and that big CS advantage that Hanabi had built up has been equalized by Zeros. Remember, Zeros teleported to the mid lane. Hopefully we'll catch a replay of that as Boogie is actually waiting just outside of vision. Meliodas is in range. Look at all the swords, Vedius! All of a sudden, though, it's Rather that's running for his life. Meliodas gets the first kill on the board for Phong Buffalo. Boogie can't do a whole lot as the Allure and the hate spikes are putting some damage down. But Meliodas just stands toe-to-toe. There's another engage. Xiaoxi with the flash dance sentence will connect onto Big Koro, and Betty gets his second.
So we'll get to the bot lane play in a second because I've got to praise Null for his use of the ultimate to steal away the Eve ultimate to then get out of what should have been an execution going in the favor of Flash Rolls. Beautiful stuff from the Silas there to get out of what should have been a dangerous play.
And super clean kills on the bottom side from Betty and Xiaoxi. They are actually destroying this matchup.
Absolutely obliterating Pallet and Big Koro. CS advantage, 2 kills advantage as well. And we catch a quick glimpse of Hanabi. So this is going to be a replay of the bottom kills first.
Yeah, we need to do them justice. We haven't been catching a lot of these kills from the bottom side. The Kalista and the Thresh, again, it's a hook right out of the brush. So the Black Shield's not going to do anything to save your life.
And I think that the expectations were that this Flash Rolls duo had gone back to base, and that means that, again, the Varus was sticking around, thought he could catch the wave, but surprise, Flash Rolls bot lane still haven't gone back to base. They commit a flash, they find themselves another kill, and they're in a prime position to carry from the bot side.
Yeah, Kalista Thresh with Flash and the ultimate can traverse the entire screen to chase you down. Really nice job there by Xiaoxi especially.
All right, here comes Boogie once again. Shadow Assault is already used. Boogie's got the Caress if he needs to, holding on to it for a few seconds longer. Hate Spike being used, and Boogie doesn't commit the ultimate.
Yeah, this is kind of the point I was talking about, why you really like CC in the lane you're ganking. He keeps on charming and then instantly proccing it just for the slow. They don't really have enough time to stick around and wait for it to fully converge there. So continually not getting those kills on the mid lane. Bottom lane might be a different story though.
Okay, Flash is available for Pallet, but Big Koro does not have his up and available. Betty and Xiaoxi making their way forward. Betty, no ultimate up. Xiaoxi will not step further forward. I'm looking at the minimap. Can't quite see where Boogie's waiting. I think
Evelyn
just
gone.
outside of vision. We're still looking from Phong Buffalo's point of view. And there we go, observers highlighting where Boogie's waiting.
But this is also the invisible pressure that Evelyn provides. As a lane that does have any kind of pressure, you always have to be so careful when trying to push up these waves because it is difficult to spot out where this Evelyn is and what direction she could come from.
Especially if you've already died 2 times in 2v2 in the lane. Definitely going to give you a little bit more pause for caution. On the top side as well, Talon flipping around the jungle. Going to try and exert some pressure himself. Does have the Tiamat now, so go shove the wave as quickly as possible, then look for side lane plays.
Right, Tiamat for Rather. Null's got himself the Proto Belt. Bilgewater Cutlass is picked up for both of the bot laners. Hanabi on the Zeal versus the Phage of Zera. So working our way towards those first big items for most players in the game. And of course, Meliodas 1-0 on that job, and he's got the Cinderhell completed.
Now, a big thing for PVB to keep in mind, and when you're playing against things like Talon, trying to ward up the river, because even though Talon does go over these walls, oftentimes it'll pass through one of these areas. Here we go mid, though, again.
All right, trade of ultimates for
Get the
now.
charm
Null's
this
gonna
time!
easily run down. So much damage from that Shadow Assault from Rather.
See, who needs CC when you just have burst damage, Kobe?
He got the CC that time.
It doesn't matter. That would have been a kill. Evelyn didn't even use her ultimate. That's why she could be looking for a play bot, but it's in fact Meliodas who is here first. He's hanging around, providing some assistance for Big Koro and Pallet.
Wow, Flash Rolls find themselves 1,000 gold up for now. Boogie's Evelyn is starting to get more involved. Xiaoxi and Betty, they've single-handedly won this lane, plus 20 CS. Not entirely fair, Boogie did gank earlier, but they've taken over from the advantageous Summoner spell position. Meliodas has got Cataclysm up. There goes Pallet, goes in with the Soul Shackles. Betty uses the clock for now. Xiaoxi buys some time before Rather arrives. Teleport completes from Hanabi, but Phong Buffalo get 2, and Vietnam erupts.
Yeah, the Buffalo have had enough of the shenanigans on the bottom side. They spin the teleport. Meliodas is on the control ward there for the counter gank as well, and they get 2 kills back.
Where is the Evelyn, though? She hasn't been spotted just yet. And here she comes, 3v4.
All right, taking a look at this. The last caress is available. That's a very good Vanguard's Edge. Gonna disarm so many members of the Flash Wolves. Sliding and dashing across Zeros. Blade surges all the way in. Manages to find the stun as well before he's taken down. It's 3 more kills for the Phong Buffalo.
Beautiful dive from the Buffaloes as they find themselves another 3 kills. A delayed ace comes out from the squad as Flash Wolves are left without an answer.
Yeah, Flash was trying to dig themselves out of a deficit on the bottom side. They had just lost their strongest members, Callista and Thresh, down, and they try and defend and go for an offensive play in the 3v5 situation at the turret.
Chelsea, what are you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Stepping forward. Not going to get turned on just yet. I'm looking at the minimap. Some support coming up from Betty. But Chelsea, like, he's playing so emboldened that Phong Buffalo have backed away, maybe expecting more members to approach.
Bold play is what I want to see today, Quick Shot. These two teams going right for the jugular.
All right. Every time. The observers, they keep trolling me. I keep thinking something's going to happen, but maybe
Something
it will
is
now.
going to happen. Xiaoxi's looking for it.
All right, Zeros is going to try to wave clear here with that Q. Xiaoxi's still lingering. Come on, use the lantern. Pull somebody up and hopefully engage. Not going to happen yet. We're going to catch a replay of that bottom lane.
So we can see here, Betty, he thinks that he's in a comfortable 2 versus 2 situation. Surprise, Meliodas comes in. They push past the minion wave. A perfect teleport situation for Zeros means that the Flash Wolves duo can be immediately eliminated. Now, the 3-man of Flash Wolves then join the fight, thinking they can hold the tower.
Yep, they're going to come around here. Boogie on the outside. In the meantime, Rather jumps over the wall. Hanabi actually flashes to try and get an AoE knock up there on multiple members, doesn't get it, and then Zeros goes on the dive with the Aurelia. Picks off the kill here, just outside of the tower aggro there, gets one more shot, is taken down, and Phong Buffalo finished that one up.
Beautiful use of the marks that he had applied with his ultimate earlier to then dive underneath the tower and find that kill onto Rather. Just excellent execution of the array.
And super important that with the tower plate secured, Phong Buffalo have turned the gold deficit into a lead. They were down 1k, now they are up 1,000 gold. The allure comes out from Boogie. Meliodas is going to be able to escape for now. Rift Herald has been interrupted and may actually be donated here to the Flash Wolves. It's a re-engage. Rift Herald is secured by Meliodas, but he cannot pick up the eye just yet.
Ooh, I love this game. Defend the Rift Herald Eye.
Well, it doesn't look like Flash Wolves are going to commit just yet. The eye is still sitting here. Will time out shortly. Chelsea finds himself one. He's already got a kill onto Meliodas. Flash Wolves are grouped up. They've got a second, as well as one back for Phong Buffalo. Boogie's running for his life as here comes Big Koro. The allure by some time. A piercing arrow secures a kill for Big Koro.
Big Koro with the big skill shot finds the kill on Evelyn after the ult is burned to get out of danger, and as his reward, picks up the Eye of the Rift Herald. All according to plan, Vedia.
Phong Buffalo win the game of back and forth as Flash Wolves are forced to back off, and Big Koro only continues to get stronger. What was an abysmal laning phase is now a 3-1 for Varus, primed and ready to carry for the Phong Buffalo.
Got himself that Blade of the Ruined King, and here's a replay of what was effectively protect or attack the Rift Herald Eye.
So here we see the binding actually landing onto Betty, but while the thing is you can see a really good flay interrupt onto Meliodas, so he ends up getting burst down first. But Big Koro sitting on the back line looks very safe, immediately gets the black shield. So then Flash Wolves are kind of grouped up into this small narrow choke point, allowing Big Koro to get all this damage down onto Boogie, where he's then able to find that beautiful snipe.
Just so nice there, right through the small corridor. Rift Herald's activated in the mid lane, and Phong Buffalo want to finish this turret off.
All right, Tower First Blood is available and should go down with the boop here from the Rift Herald, picked up in favor of Phong Buffalo. Meliodas clears out the chicken camp just south of the mid lane, and Zeros is now moving up top. A couple of members of PVB are putting pressure onto that second charge up by the Rift Herald, and as it stands, Phong back away. Extend the gold lead to 2,000. Big item spikes have come in for almost everybody. Static Shiv up top into Triforce, and it's really just Rather that's waiting to complete a few components. And now Zeros will get some support. There's no minions for this dive.
Yeah, and a controller does see the rest of the members of Phong Buffalo leave the jungle, so he should feel fairly secure in continuing to defend it. Zeros is going to have to worry about the 2v1 here, though. Boogie, Invisible Evelyn in his lane.
Let's take a look what Zeros can do. Flash not available to him. Vanguard's edge buys some time. He's got so much damage, but not going to be enough to get through Boogie. 17.5 minutes, Flash Wolves get their 7th kill of the game. Still staying within touching distance, and of course, you know, both of these teams, they're putting on a show for us, which is great, but it is their last games of MSI 2019.
This is exactly what Flash Wolves want to be doing with their composition, roaming around the map, looking for these picks, trying to avoid these big 5v5s where the big area effect abilities that Phong Vu Buffalo's comp does have, things like the Jarvan ultimate, Irelia ultimate, the Varus ultimate, and the Morgana ultimate, like, Assassins don't want to be enclosed in a small space. They want to have the freedom to utilize their mobility and pick targets off.
Claustrophobic Assassins don't like to get boxed in.
No, they don't like the small spaces.
No, definitely not. And Rather's got himself the Duskblade of Drakthar, so definitely wants to try, you know, combo up with the likes of either Hanabi or Boogie, find the opportunities to assassinate people.
Do like those combos, though. Big AoE knockup possible here. You know, we talked about the Callista and Thresh being able to work so well with Hanabi. Bottom side, it's actually going to be the Evelyn that wants to work with Rather once again.
All right, now Null used the box a few seconds ago. Not going to get chased just yet. Vision is in favor of PVB as the Mountain Drake is now secured. That's the second Mountain of the game at 19 minutes. Hugely important if this game continues to play out. And Phong Vu now putting some pressure into the jungle of Flash Wolves. Red buff will get secured by Boogie. I think he smited that one away as Meliodas throws the flag and drag down. Second tower secured in favor of PVB. Correction. In favor of Flash Wolves, they will get their second tower for PVB now.
Hanabi going to continue pushing up here on the top side. Static Shiv going to allow him to take down the minions very quickly and start to attack the turret. Looks like he's drawing several members up there. And a roam from Xiaoxi and Boogie at the same time. Maybe they make a play, try and pick somebody in the enemy jungle.
All right, now Betsy's not with the team. He's stuck in the middle lane for now. Blast Cone has been used by Flash Wolves, and we're in quite a chaotic phase of the game as both teams kind of concede each half of the map. Knock down one tower apiece. Baron is coming up, and we'll start to see which team is going to contest either to push the lanes out or start setting up for those next objectives.
Well, I think it's Flash Wolves that kind of have to play on the opposite side of where Phong Vu Buffalo look to play, because the reality is they are stronger in the 5 versus 5, so when they're setting up for an objective, chances are they will have a numbers advantage. So it's better for Flash Wolves to actually kind of create a pit of darkness, then go to the opposite side of the map, and then if Phong Vu try to answer, then you can catch them either in the rotation or are isolated in a single lane.
Yeah, I think the thing that Phong Vu Buffalo are most worried about is vision, because even Flash Wolves can definitely win AoE teamfights themselves. Steric's Gage completed on the Yasuo now. They have the possibility, if they get flanks back onto Big Koro and they kill the key member there, even with a Morgana shield, you know, if you take down the Varus, they can definitely, you know, get in and get out very quickly.
The thing that Flash Wolves have to take into consideration is the stopwatch that's sitting on top of Big Core right now. There's also another one on top of Meliodas, and it's something that I know a lot of players in my solo queue games forget about, because I forget about it all the time, where you think you've gotten onto the carry, then they pop that stopwatch, and it just helps them buy a lot of time and swing a team fight.
That's Captain Flower's favorite thing to remind everyone. Always press tab and check for stopwatches. There's also a Zonius on the mid laner, by the way.
Well, let's see if it's going to help out. Zeros forced to flash away. This was the 2v1 earlier. Again, a lot of damage onto Boogie. But Boogie and Hanabi easily able to pick up the kill. It is at the expense of the top tower. There might be a reply, though, because look mid lane as Flash Wolves are pushing.
Yep, Flash Wolves have priority in mid and bottom lane right now. Now we've got another assassination. All
right, let's take a look. What can Null do? Shadow Assault has already been used. Null hasn't used the hijack just yet. He's going to be able to steal it away, but the mid tower has fallen. The rest of PVB, they're pushing the top lane. They've got 2 towers in the top in exchange for both outer turrets from PVB.
Now, I like the response from Phong Vu Buffalo. We talked very much about what we're seeing right now, where Phong Vu kind of group up as a small unit, and then they look to push for objectives, whereas Flash Wolves are kind of split up across the map. But now that Phong Vu actually have control of the top side, they're immediately committing towards the Baron.
And remember, double Mountain Drake as well as Blade of the Ruined King and this Trinity Force on Xerxes Irelia. Baron is going low. It's below a 3rd hit points. Null is going to get jumped on by Hanabi. Xerxes turns around. Meliodas is peeled and fought. Cataclysm goes down. Betsy throws out the ultimate, trying to look for a re-engage. The target is going to be in the mid lane. Null is staying alive. He uses that hourglass that Kobe talked about. Now Meliodas is the target. Hanami decides to re-engage. Null is zoned away, so is Zeros. Pallet is down. Flash Wolves have got themselves a double kill. They've stopped the Baron and they're in control.
Flash Wolves picked the flashy composition and they pulled it off. Hanabi just goes straight in to draw aggro. Really good ultimate combination out of the Kalista ultimate. They found another kill. Boogie gets the shutdown and Big Coral is down.
Flash Wolves with 11 kills reclaim control of the game and they turn to look to burn the Baron.
And Assassins like open spaces. They had room to be mobile, and the decision-making in that moment was just beautiful from the Flash Wolves. You talked about it, Kobe. The flank coming in from Hanabi to split up North from the rest of his team allowed Chelsea to then go on the offensive rather than be on the retreat and convert it into a big win. Nor just barely unable to interrupt the backs. All 5 members of Flash Wolves walk away with the Baron.
All right, let's go over this once again. As you're talking about, Hanabi here on the top side, he knows he just wants to make them stop Baron to buy time for the rest of his team. So he goes on Null. That allows Xiaoxi to go in on the Thresh. He gets pulled out after baiting the Black Shield, after baiting the Jarvan to go in on him, and then re-emerges to the top side to help Hanabi with the stun. Then everybody goes in onto Betty with the flash, and that allows the Assassins to strike.
And just look at how split apart Phong Vu Buffalo was. Big Core initially had a huge front line that he could stand behind, but the moment that the flank came through from Hanabi, everyone started splitting apart. Zeros went up towards the top lane. The Morgana from Pallet flashed in on top of Betty, and Big Core is just standing there going like, uh-oh, everyone with swords is looking at my face. All I can do is run away.
Well, he wasn't able to run very far. Got shut down on the inner turret, and we saw the Infernal Drake picked up by Flash Wolf. So 3,000 gold lead. They've got more damage, and Captain Flowers, you'd be proud. I pressed tab, and I've seen there are no more stopwatches on the Phong Vu Buffalo side. Meliodas, Big Core, and Pallet all broken on their watches. Only the Hourglass for Null, whereas Hanabi's picked one up. Flash Wolves, they're on the siege, using that Baron empowered minions to push down this inner turret. And Boogie, he's stepping way forward, looking for targets, Kobe.
Yeah, Evelyn loves fishing, especially at this stage in the game.
Yeah.
Starting to stack up the needlessly large rods. You're just looking for somebody to chunk.
And this is the point in the game where Evelyn is probably her most obnoxious. She doesn't really need to land the charm anymore. As long as she gets on top of your face and gets you to that execution point, you will be obliterated.
Well, that seems to be the case. Zeros, by the way, no teleport available, and he's pushing the top lane. If you look at the minimap, 5 members of Flash Wolves pushing into 2 lanes. Baron empowered minions going to be ushered in here. 5 Flash Wolves, 5 members will take down the tower. Zeros will finish his recall shortly. Still a minute and a bit of this Baron as Xiaoxi gets jumped on. Hasn't thrown down the box just yet. Instead, will get pulled back by the Fates Call. Gets spat back out. Null is already down. The box goes down for any sort of retreat. Hanabi takes down Pallet, and he's not done yet. All the way forward. Gets out of range of the Vanguard's edge, which absolutely whiffs. Finds no targets at all. Flash Wolves will turn their attentions to the inhibitor, and they might not be done yet. With 30-second death timers, they might be pushing for the win.
Flash Wolves are feeling confident. They've still got the Baron buff out, but only a few ultimates remain. They've decided that they don't want to take the gamble. They're just going to back off, and Boogie with the invisible laugh spam taunt Zeros without him even knowing.
I actually wish we had more pro games like this, where they're just super tryharding with more assassin, more solo queue oriented champions here. They're just going for the big plays. They're finding the big plays, and they're finding success. Baron empowered push here for the Flash Wolves. Bear's ultimate is going to hit the Yasuo and start to chain, but Death Sentence landed at the same time. They all converge onto Null. Everybody pulls back here, and they're able to get that first kill.
Unfortunately for Phong Vu Buffalo, they started the fight without Zeros there. That extra bit of damage from Aurelia that could potentially threaten the backline was unavailable, and that meant that by getting that early kill advantage, Flash Wolves felt more than happy to continue pushing into the enemy base and securing an inhibitor.
And of course, for Flash Wolves, it's a statement final game. For a team that has made playoffs at MSI every year they have attended, this is the first time they failed to do that. And then closing game coming up against the VCS running an all-assassin comp. It is a lot of fun to watch, but it is a bit of a sad exit, you know, for a team that was famous for being Korean killers back in the day. And we need to see what they can do, how they're going to close this one out. Phong Vu Buffalo, on the other hand, they've definitely picked up a few surprise wins, taking down G2 Esports both times. Now on the back foot against the Flash Wolves.
Well, one of the drawbacks is that they have a very short range composition, so it's hard to siege up at the remaining turrets. Chelsea's deep in there. Is Kalista nearby? Yes.
Yeah, we'll be able to escape Kalista. Just use that face call to get him out. And you mentioned the short range. When you kill everybody, the range doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Watch
That's the
Boogie.
game plan right now.
Watch Boogie.
Lure them out.
I can't watch Boogie. Boogie's invisible. Where did Boogie go?
Uh-oh.
Thank you, observers. Boogie escapes. It's actually kind of troll because while it does build tension, I genuinely don't know where the Evelyn goes. So I start panicking whenever the observers switch over to PVB.
Just behind you, Trevor.
Quick shot's just down there going, ha, ha, ha!
I have so much fear.
Gonna wake up in the middle of the night tonight.
No, Boogie, no!
I'm just gonna play KDA right behind.
Boogie's almost got a death sentence, by the way. Because Meliodas was looking
Imagine
behind
that's the last thing you hear. Just the KDA theme song as she slowly walks up behind you.
You can tell it's been a long
I think
day,
we've broken
ladies and
Vedia.
gentlemen.
I think
After the corgi butt and now this, I'm gone. I'm done.
I will admit, today's shoutcast with the caps dance with Corgi and then the swords, look at all the swords. It definitely was a highlight moment, Mr. Day.
honestly, that actually resonates with me as a former Talon player because, well, the best part is that whenever you go back, you just buy more longswords.
It's true.
How many longswords does he have in these items right now? It's over 10.
At least over, yeah, at
Over
least.
10 this longswords went into the making of this build.
Well, let's see if it's going to help Boogie out. He's going to jump onto Zeros. Zeros forced to flash another Vanguard's edge, unable to find a target because of the mobility on the Flash Wolves side. No flash, no ulti. Baron is up in 5 seconds. Infernal is up, and Flash Wolves, well, they can pick whatever objective they want.
All right, we've had time to do the math. 12 longswords, Vedia.
Let's count. Are there as many swords in the Talon Ultimate? Next
There's
time
more.
it's thrown up.
There's more.
Right, I trust you to count, Kobe. That is your mission, should you choose to accept it. Flash Wolves are going to allow Boogie to solo the Infernal, as he has done so. That's the second of the game. Baron is available. There is some vision from PVB, and Shoutzy once again playing bait. Got the Fate's Call available to him. Kalista throws it down. Rather will sidestep the chain of corruption of Flash Wolves. They've created the chaos. Now they're looking for the re-engage. There's all the swords. Gonna throw himself in. Rather gets taken out by Big Koro. But there's so much damage coming out from Boogie. But it's Phong Fu Buffalo that seem to be in the advantageous position. Super minions on the Nexus turrets. Boogie is trying to turn this around.
Oi!
That's one. That's two. Betty is hopping and skipping and jumping with the help of Hanabi. And Pallet is left alone. Gets taken out by Flash Wolves. And the Super Minions will be ushered onto the Nexus as the Flash Wolves use their assassins flawlessly. Not done just
You can win a team fight.
Yeah, yes they can, Kobe. They're looking for the Nexus right now. Today we have proven that assassins are always the superior comp.
That's definitely the case. Flash Wolves will finish MSI with a win over Phong Vu Buffalo.
Hey! Flashy ultimate right there. Back into everyone. Definitely having some fun.
You can see the looks on the faces of Flash